Hey guys, Roussow here with Endeavour Studios, and today I'm taking a look at the newly released Grand Theft Auto 5 gameplay trailer. This trailer is very similar to the one they released for Max Payne 3, where it's the female narration over clips of cinematic view and just actual gameplay with HUD and all. Speaking of, our first shot here, a beautiful shot of who I would assume is Trevor flying over this dam, and sun coming in and all that, is it's a remarkable view of it makes you realize how much you can still get out of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 hardware. It's this late in its cycle, especially seeing like what new games look like. This still looks remarkable. Anyway, I've paused it here so we can have a look at the new HUD. And what we're seeing right here is the map and these three segmented bars below it. Now the map's slightly different to the Grand Theft Auto 4 one. It's now an isometric view, as you'll see when I play it in motion a bit later, but instead of a direct type down, and these three segmented bars is a bit of speculation, but I assume it's split into health, stamina, and I assume that orange bar, which is actually yellow, it's just orange because of the lighting here, but I believe that bar's body armor. And yeah, I'm just assuming it's kind of a bit like how Skyrim's heads-up display works, except much neater and much smaller than the screen there. But I'll continue this shot. Also, you see flies over Landak Dam and the Tatavian Mountains. They're not real San Andreas places. A quick Google search confirmed that, so it's new places for this Los Santos in the modern generation. Trevor here, I assume, driving over these mountains just shows you what the scale of this game looks like. And we'll continue on. Now here's Michael, and he's entering an expensive clothing store here, and just looking again at the HUD, it shows that clothing store still represented by a little t-shirt on the map, Compass Point North there, and Safe House, or in Michael's case probably a huge house, or possibly one of the many properties you can actually purchase in this game, as well as the little H in the bottom right hand corner there. That's probably a mission for someone whose name starts with H, if it's still like any other Grand Theft Auto game, and a little question mark, which is just a mission from an unknown person in GTA 4 and other Grand Theft Auto games. Moving along, first shot of driving. This is Trevor here, and just driving by a little raggedy mall out in the middle of nowhere. Again, just showing you, like, there wouldn't be many. I'm going to assume, like, some of that mall is interactive, but you can't be 100% sure how many places you can actually enter in this game, especially with a landscape this fast. Take note of this truck though, because it appears later. Homeless, deer, jet skiing, and ATV and quad bikes, all part of the gameplay. This is weird. This is like a little Chinatown looking place, I guess, based on that backdrop. Actually, there's a place called Little Seoul or something, which I assume is a parody of that. It showed up in a sign in one of the last trailers. But yeah, some weird Saints Row looking shit going on. Play on, business district. And this is Franklin here on our right over the shoulder. And the guy he's talking to is his boss. And Franklin, one of our three playable protagonists, is a repo man, sort of. He repossesses cars specifically in this case, and that's why he's the wheelman of the group, and his speciality is with driving. And yeah, just talking to his boss here. Not much to go on context wise. There it is, title screen. Okay, here the three protagonists are organising one of their many heists, which is the I think there's about 13 or so, I can't be sure on that one, but that's the crux of the gameplay. And it's all set up for them big cinematic missions. That's Michael with his son, and the rest of his family, his mom there, his wife getting angry. Here's Franklin again in, I don't know, some strange part of Los Santos. You can see there's a bit of redevelopment in the background there, and also BMX bikes back. I can't tell if there's a BMX bike, some bike. And in the background there we got that logo, Welcome Back, which is very fitting. I don't know if that's like a Grove Street thing, or I fact check that logo with other gangs, and it's not a actual logo for any of them, but you know, I can't be 100% sure. Also in the back here, Franklin's dog, who hang around with you in gameplay. So yeah, that'll be a interesting companion to have with you outside of just your average guy. Little Los Santos cap there. Just find it out. And Trevor is kicking a body into a toilet. Yeah, Trevor's kind of the wild card of this game, and he looks like one of the most fascinating characters in a long, long time. Now here we're setting up for one of the heists, and see, here's Trevor is driving, Michael is rappelling out, and as you can see, rappelling is part of gameplay. More gameplay here. You notice that it's running on a PlayStation 3 based on the X to descend faster and hold X for a longer jump, and saying we're in some sort of agency based on the mission objective there on the bottom. And so, can't tell if rappelling's part of gameplay, but it's part of this scene specifically. And now, as you can see, he brings up this little menu in the bottom right, and he's about to swap into Franklin, but I should just point out something that's really interesting is these stats here on the bottom right, just above the face icons. And this looks like a very return to form to San Andreas, with stamina, shooting, strength, stealth, flying, driving, lung capacity, and special. Special, I assume, is the character's speciality, and I believe Michael's is shooting because he's an ex-bank robber, essentially. And Trevor's, I think it's flying, and I assume because he's, yeah, that's his job as part of the heist, and Franklin's is driving. I assume they might be different, but I assume that's what special is. Now, the big crux of the gameplay here is that you can transfer from protagonist to protagonist. Now, we're playing as Franklin, and we just seamlessly jumped from that person without loading, and very quickly loading, and you can see again, it's definitely a PlayStation based on that. Fire the right trigger to fire the weapon. And as you can tell, enemies are still represented by red dots on the map, and the ammo counter in the top right. And now, we transfer back into Michael, who for a quick second in the bottom left corner there, you missed it, but it said came up with a shooting bar, so I assume it works like past San Andreas, and for, again, another Skyrim reference for people who didn't play San Andreas or are not familiar with it, the more you use a skill, the more it levels up. And then him shooting here from being out this window, it looks very much like Max Payne, Rockstar's, I believe it was our last game? Yeah, absolutely, and more so than Red Dead Redemption, the shooting in Max Payne 3 was very refined. That was one of the big problems with Grand Theft Auto 4. Great game, but the shooting, it was a bit finicky, especially with the lock-on. And right here I haven't seen any of the lock-on at all, even though I was in Max Payne a little bit. But yeah, this is all free-firing. It looks really good. This is Michael, obviously, after they've pulled that guy out, they're flying away, and I assume you could change to Trevor and pilot while the AI of Michael fires out the back. Who knows? But and just the mission concludes here as they get away. And now we're just showing how the seamlessly transitioning works. Franklin here just doing what he does, and then as we can see here, Franklin's stats and whatnot, and his money count in the top right, he transitions into Michael, and it flashes away, skips over, and we assume there's no loading in between this, and Michael was just in the middle of going on a BMX ride with his son. Makes a joke there. And then back into Trevor, who's just escaping cops. And Rockstar have said that there's going to be a bunch of these. A little bit of destruction there. I don't know how dynamic it is, but just worth noting in that cinematic view. And, Trevor drives off. But yeah, apparently each time you transition, you see like a new activity or thing that each character's doing each time, and apparently they won't get repeated very often or at all. So we'll see how that pans out though. And car customization's back, another thing that was missing in Grand Theft Auto 4. We see in the top right here there's 75 colours you can choose from, and all the stats in the bottom left hand corner there of the car we've got. Funny to note, Crystal, I don't know if that's a character in the game, but just funny to note the strange license. And just in the bottom right as well, worth noting the controls. And wheels as well, so you know there's like 26 wheels there, so I think wheels have got you set. Another shot of flying, and just worth noting how this it looks like the same train from one of the first trailers of the game that explodes, same train track. But yeah, it's showing you how fast the world is. Franklin, going clothes shopping here. It's the same sort of HUD for all the shopping centers, and yeah, 12. There's at least 12 jackets just listed here, so there's an abundance of clothes. Probably for each character. Now, what every GTA 5 player was gonna want: golf. I'm a golf myself, so I found this kind of interesting to see how well developed these mini games are. And you'll see the same for a couple of ones later on. But even this HUD in the bottom left, it's got a specifically designed HUD for each not even just course, but hole. And then in the top left, it's, I assume, 6 below par. He's not doing too well. And in the top right there, there's that's just says he's using a 7-iron there. There's a list of clubs. It's, I assume the arrow pointing backwards is the wind, and what shot he's on. He's even got his own personalized outfit for this. And I can't tell by watching that bit if the golf game player is going to be like tap X and then tap it again to stop a swing, or is it going to be like more like right analog stick swinging. But who knows? Regardless, they put a lot of effort into it. Apparently yoga is even a mini game as well, and scuba diving. It's worth noting these little icons on the map there, where there's little question marks, so I couldn't tell if there's like hidden treasure down there or something like that. That sounds a little cheesy, but you never know. Moving along, hunting it's something, it's obvious carryover from Red Dead Redemption, but it's must be a full-fledged, not necessarily mini game, but it has its own mechanics, because you see here it's got the wind or the sniper. I don't know if that's going to be a normal thing for sniping. We didn't see it with Franklin back there, I don't believe, but point is, it makes hunting a lot more interesting, and there's a lot of more things to do in GTA rather than just go postal this time around. Yep, of course, you're crazies. You gotta have enough crazies in Grand Theft Auto. And, very funny conversation here. Now, this is the most exciting part of the whole thing, but this is just one long stretch of gameplay, and it's Franklin here who takes dynamic cover behind this car, and blind fires there, semi-automatic pistol, and we'll go back to that, just that one. There we go. Here's the weapon wheel they've got. Instead of last time, where it was hitting the left or right on the D-pad to switch between weapons. Now, it's a lot like Red Dead Redemption, and well, I'd say more like Max Payne, but it's more like Red Dead because you can carry all this stuff. And you've got pistols, obviously automatic pistols, submachine guns, carbines, snipers. I assume you can put a heavy weapon in there, like a rocket launcher or something. You get your fist there. I don't know if there's melee weapons yet. Shotguns, grenade launchers, and it looks like C4. Anyway, he carries on. He's blind firing at these two guys. Then he goes into an over-the-shoulder mode, which I assume is triggered by firing it with the right trigger and aiming with the left. And very cool stuff. Racing here, it looks a lot more like a normal racing game that it did in Grand Theft Auto 4. It's much easier to weave and dodge between traffic, and the camera appears to be very much more centered directly behind the car, unlike GTA 4, where the car was slightly to the right of the camera. It's worth noting as well here that the flashing, whoever is playing is being chased by the police, and there doesn't seem to be a big circle on the map of where to escape. So I don't know if they've changed the way police work, or it's just the map's very zoomed in. And yeah, another minigame, target shooting. You can see it's fully fledged just because you have the big pop-ups there, and you have the HUD in the bottom right there showing the scores to beat and whatnot. Tennis. Again, like, it looks like it's as fully fledged as the golf is. Probably much smaller game just because of the fact that it's only one court. But yeah, yeah, you can adjust, I guess, the velocity of your hits and the pitch and whatnot and all that. But I can't tell if Michael's playing with his wife here or he's just playing against random AI. But Jordan, I don't know who Jordan is. But yeah, just another minigame. Cycling, another one. Stamina bar down there. This is actually an uphill race, which, man, that's got to be fun. Even got his own costume, not costume, but kind of uniform for this sort of thing. And you can see there the arrow pointing you in the right direction. And then skydiving. own minigame as well. I don't know, or maybe it's just you can skydive off wherever you want. This looks like the same mountain we saw at this, towards the very beginning of the trailer. There was a directly top-down shot, and it looks like a base jump off the very same mountain. Here we're getting into how you do the heists with all three characters, and apparently I didn't know this, but there's a bit of customization in it. Here we see a truck run into another one of these trucks here, and that's very interesting. I can't tell if that's dynamic destruction or it's very scripted, but either way it's impressive in an open world game like this. Continuing on to talk about the heists, but so apparently you can organize them yourself, and I don't know how much this is, but they show basically there's two options here. Go in as this pest control, like after everyone's been knocked out by the gas, or just go in guns blazing more or less. But it's interesting to see that there's customization in such, you know, clearly scripted and well-made missions that they're allowing you to kind of make your own. Here, tattoo parlor Trevor getting done up. There's 16 tattoos here, and I don't know if this is exclusive to Trevor because I can't really see the other two characters being that into tats, especially not Michael. I mean, at that point. But yeah, it just shows you the level of customization that's available. Another shot of driving here, just again showing you how easy it is to duck and weave between traffic in comparison to Grand Theft Auto 4, which I didn't think was a bad control system. It's just it wasn't as fun. And here the updated internet browser, which is looks a lot more natural than Grand Theft Auto 4's like parody looking thing. But here, yeah, the gameplay's getting really deep. You can buy stocks in companies. Here's ammunition, which has been in all the other games. And, yeah, this is really deep. It's just, who would have expected this level of customization in the game? Then moving on, you can buy property. Again, what I was saying before, this is probably something that I don't know how limited it will be and how many properties there are and how different it will be to just having a safe house. But again, crazy level of detail. And then we're ending here with the multiplayer tease. And just looking at how many people there are. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 the jet, 16 yourself. It looks like it might be 16 person multiplayer based on that. That's a very large thing to speculate upon, but if it's anything like GTA 4's multiplayer, then we're in for a surprise. And a lot of fun, especially. Anyway, leave you on the screen there, and all footage was captured in-game on a PS3, by the looks of all that. But, yeah, can't wait for this game. Really pumped, especially after The Last of Us, which blew my mind. I can't wait for the next thing. And it's going to be a long wait till September 17th.